From the heart of Europe to the world, this is RTI.
It's Postcard from Poprad. Dobry den Slovensko. Let me just think. Guten Tag in Germany. Goedemiddag in Holland. Let me just think. London. What's your mate? Let's think of it for Leigh Banks. How d'ye do, Mr. Banks?
He's not saying loads of it.
Well, that's what you go. How do you do?
I do not do that. There is a certain man who shall be nameless who does that, called Henry O'Donovan. I just say, how do you do?
Well, that's what I was saying, sort of.
You put a load of doo-doo on the end.
Well, that fits.
Well, you shouldn't be trying to put it back in.
Okay. I think we'll leave it there. And we'll... Dave is listening, but the meeting that he was going to go to is running late.
No, not running now.
It's running late, it is. And KB's just joined us in the studio from Holland as well. Shout hello.
Hello.
Hello, everybody.
There you go. That's good. It only leaves me to bring in the quintessential dominating producer of the programme, Rachel Brunsden.
How you going?
How you going?
I'm going all right.
I love all this. Yeah, watch your cock, and all that sort of stuff. Anyway, how is everybody?
Very well,
good.
thank you. Are you?
I'm tired.
Oh, Bear, why? What's up?
Well, because one poor... Actually, I should say thank you first, as Rachel's got to do a thank you as well in a minute. I would like to say thank you to everybody in the Poprad Hospital here who've been superb, looking after a British lady who's had a stroke on Monday, has been looked after wonderfully by the hospital. Considering all the paperwork was screwed up, but that's not her fault. And I also have to say thank you to Mike Penning from the government in the UK, who's been a superb guy, sort of easing things along, shall we put it that way, for now. That'll do. But the nice thing is, lady in question is sitting up in bed, she's having a chat, threatened to throw things at me yesterday, so she must be getting better. Well, I was trying to make her laugh. Sorry, ma'am, if you're listening. You probably are. And also to Dominica, especially in the hospital, who's been translating for the lady and trying to make her as comfortable as possible. And I'm not sure about the chef over, which is the lady doctor, who's the boss, because she did say to me at one point, "Would you like to be my assistant? You're very good with patients." Oh. That's nice, isn't it?
It's very nice indeed, so you have a nice bedside manner.
No, I sit on a chair. There's no manner there.
Rachel, will you tell him that joke just didn't work?
I would, but I was distracted by the tumbleweed rolling in front of me.
Right. No, I'm here. I'm waiting for Rach to take over.
It's
Not
me.
there, Rach.
I got to send a shout out to my dear friend Tony, who's just had a huge operation, got some horrible old cancer removed, and his entire kidney. So yeah, he's on the mend and he's sitting up and chatting away. It was a very big operation, and they left a 12 centimetre hole in him, which is quite large.
Ouch.
So and now he's apparently his insides have to settle to fill up the gap that is now existing, but he's doing really well. So Tej, get better and come back.
Yeah.
Do what you do. Do what you do. Tej is awesome. He's an ex-radio guy from Sydney, and he's also a colossal station.
Rach, shall we be nasty to Tony?
Yeah. All right.
We can be nasty to Tony.
Why?
Have you got a clean Australian joke?
There aren't any.
I can feel Tony starting to try not to laugh now.
Yeah, we don't want to do that. We don't want him to burst his sutures. But Tony was involved in the in the NASA and Parks end of the space program here in Australia. So he and I chat quite a lot because, space nerd.
Yes.
And we're also both radio nerds, so we have a lot in common, and he's a terrific guy. And Wales on a really mean fender too, I've got to tell you.
Oh, right.
So he's he's on the mend, which is awesome. So get well, TJ.
Yeah, come on, TJ. What are you doing? That's really get out. Come on, TJ. Get up. Get on with it.
Yeah, we're going to try and make you laugh.
Because we're nasty like that, TJ.
Yeah.
Ho, 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 ho.
Right in, tell us if it hurts.
Yeah. Yeah, if it hurts, that's wrong, isn't it?
Do that.
That's terrible. Let's move on, because we're supposed to be doing some news. I think I've said hello to most people already with us, but I'll do some more in a moment. And I promise I will go to the email today. I'm so sorry. The chat room was so busy last week, we didn't know which way to turn, to be quite honest. But we start off with Sven. Yes, I'm going to hand this one over to Leigh, because I can't even say the name.
Well, neither can I, because I've lost my list.
Asmussen?
Oh, found it now. It's Sven. Look, honestly, you're such a Philistine, dear.
Yes, I know, dear.
It's Sven Asmussen.
Ah, right.
He's the fiddling Viking. Yes, and he's died at 100 years old. The fiddling Viking is no more. He is a demised fiddling Viking.
A jazz geezer.
He was a jazz geezer. Nothing wrong with that.
No. I'm just saying. I just the tumbleweed came out the back of my head, dropped through the front. Then I had a light bulb moment, and then I thought he's a jazz geezer.
Jazzvazzled.
Stop it.
What's wrong with that? That's a perfectly reasonable term within the jazz world.
Well, all right then. Okay, I'll let you off. But then it suddenly dawned on me. Yeah, jazz geezer.
Yes. Oh, so you do know him? You have heard of him?
Yes.
He was actually, wasn't he, Rachel? He was known as one of the world's top 10 violinists.
Yes.
And but he just wanted to play happy, clappy, nice music. So really, he let himself down. Naughty Sven.
No,
He
was happy.
Yeah, my dad was good Lord. Shut up, Mothy.
Yes, boss.
My dad, who's a violinist, and
of course he is. Yes.
Order of Australia medalist recipient, I might add. He loved him, and my dad doesn't like many other violinists who go out and make a lot of money. Like he does that Andre Rieu fellow. He's got no time for him, but he does like this guy, and he'll be very sad.
Oh, well, actually, just to qualify something, Mr. Banks.
What now?
Jelly Roll Morton.
I had one of those for breakfast. Yeah, they're really, really good.
Philistine.
And Philistine, he was a good jazz musician as well.
Yes.
Philistine. Jelly Roll Morton to you, sir. That's who I
Jelly
did my...
Roll Everybody knows who Jelly Roll Morton is.
Go on, then.
What? Jelly Roll. That's Van Morrison singing about him.
Oh.
I don't have any idea who you're talking about, so not everybody knows.
Well, I did my music dissertation on Jelly Roll Morton when I was in my former years at the Halls of Learning.
And what?
Not Elvis. What a shocker.
Who?
Not Elvis. You didn't do a dissertation on Elvis. What a shocker.
Who's he?
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
My show, Eric. I play him on my show.
On my show. Anyway, what a great guy. Was a great violinist as well. And Leigh's quite right. He did do a lot of sort of toe-tappy music.
Yeah, poppy stuff. And honestly, I'm not being horrible to him because I liked him as well. And he lived to 100, and he carried on playing most of his life. He was playing. But I don't see why somebody who had an intelligent and was gifted in grown-up music had to become sort of a pop idol.
Because that's what he liked doing.
But he was like a geriatric Justin Bieber.
What's wrong with that?
Yeah, but Bob Dylan's a geriatric Ed Sheeran.
Yes.
Excuse me.
Yes, I agree with that.
Excuse me. I have a shock for you, which I will be sharing soon.
Oh, heck.
Yeah. See, young
Justin Bieber's in Melbourne as we speak. So don't say his name too many times, or he'll explode.
Anyway, let's move on. Let's move on before she shouts at me. Lost again. Kurt Moll, the opera singer, has died at the age of 78.
There's another one gone.
Yep. And
Kurt Moll.
you can tell how much we all knew him. And on the next one, I have to hand over to the other two because Sir Howard Hodgkin has died. He was an abstract artist who won a Turner Prize. Do you know, one of these days I'm going to put a picture in the Turner Prize.
You wouldn't even win a turnip.
I'm going to get a piece of paper, throw it on the garden outside when it's muddy, then dry it off, put it in a frame and go, that's abstract art.
You see, that's the sort of
but then
thing
they'll hang it on the wall. They'll hang it on the wall and then turn it around.
Turn it around.
I'm really tired. I apologise for that.
my turnip joke just got ignored.
I know.
Yeah, it was as bad as mine. Don't worry.
So what is...
Anyway, so
what
Howard Hodgkin.
Yeah, what? I don't get it.
He was a painter. He was a famous painter. He created his own art form, and he basically recreated the feelings of the French dynasty of artists. And he often would quote Degas. You can tell I'm reading this, can't you? I've never read it before. Yeah. He's quoted Degas, Voulard, and Bonnard. Yeah, and all sorts of things like that. He's very well known, Eric.
Right, we move on. The Clyde Stumblefield, who was the drummer in James Brown's band, who was well known to millions of people, and he also did something with Zeppelin as well, if I remember rightly. Am I right?
Sorry?
Didn't he do something with Zeppelin as well?
I think he did. He was one of those people who... Is he that little bald man?
Yeah.
That's him. He's done it with everybody.
Well, there's no stopping the man then.
Well, there is now, because he's dead.
Well, he's now, so we can't do that song, can we?
Which one?
Ow! I feel good.
Well, he probably feels better than he did before he died.
Well, that's very true, actually, yeah. Yeah, absolutely true. And playing with Mr. James Brown, the granddaddy of soul.
Do you think he really was called Stubblefield?
Yeah, why not?
Why would anybody...
It's a funny thing,
that?
Clyde Stubblefield. That's a funny name.
Well,
People have normal names, like Eric Norman.
No one would make that up.
Oh, this is very true. Rachel, we have to cross over to you, dear.
Oh, you, dear.
Do we?
Yes, because one of the actors in the Harry Potter series is currently in hospital recovering from a car crash.
It's funny, I don't really know that.
Funny.
I don't know that. No, it's a little bit funny, as Elton John once said.
Yeah.
I never saw any of the Harry Potter movies, so I don't really know him from this, but what I do know him from is the sketch show, which is from your part of the world. Jim Tavray. He's a glorious man and really funny, hilariously funny.
Can you hear the door in the background?
Yes.
Coming in my studio while we're on air. Would you like to say hello, dear?
No.
Fine.
No. That's nearly as good as when she nods her head.
Would it be all right if I continue talking about Jim Tavray, or we've got other things to do?
No, you carry on, Rachel. Sorry to interrupt.
The glorious Andrea, dear.
Sorry to interrupt, Rach. Sorry, Rach. Right, hang on. Let's just cure in. 3, 2, 1.
What?
Rach.
Go, Rach.
Jim Tavray is in intensive care after a head-on collision broke his neck and punctured his lung. It was terrible. He's had a really horrible accident, and he's now in ICU. But his wife is letting us know that he's been in an accident. He's in the ICU. He's had 2 blood transfusions. He's going in for surgery. This is not a joke. This is for real. This is not a movie. And please throw out some good thoughts to him. So we'll keep tabs on Jim and see that. I hope he's okay.
Yeah, indeed so. I got close to that once where I had a crack in my neck. I actually cracked my neck, a little fracture. And that was scary, let alone breaking your neck. Oh, I'll tell you, your life runs before you. A little bit of a public service information note on the next one, just in case people do get a bit frustrated over it. I'm a great fan of Team Viewer, as Mr. Banks knows, because it is a
my career's over now, isn't it?
Yeah. As he well knows. And the public service announcement is to let you know that if you use TeamViewer or you are a TalkTalk subscriber, you will find it has been blocked. It's not your computer broken. It's not something else gone wrong. TeamViewer is still there. It's just that TalkTalk have decided in their infinite wisdom that people use it for bad things. Well,
like what?
Like scamming people.
How do you do that? Because you've got to like, I've got to be honest, Mr. Wiltsher basically has access to my computer 24 hours a day because I can't make it work. So he comes up, but I don't let anybody else on. There's only you come on.
Yeah,
and
right.
If you were phishing me...
Yeah, you'd know.
Oh, I would, exactly.
Yeah. But I think it's...
talking rubbish.
I think it's to do with people who maybe phone up first... get people who are not technically orientated to agree to put TeamViewer on, and then they nick their bank account details and stuff like that. But I think what TalkTalk should do, rather than just go into panic mode, is actually do an education program to let people know.
I think they're just being pathetic.
Really?
That's all I have to say.
Okay.
Well, I don't see TeamViewer. You see, if somebody's on your screen, you're going to see if they're going into your details, if they're going into a file that says bank account details, you'll see them, you could stop them, just switch it off.
Yeah, switch off.
Yeah, it's just an overreaction to something which actually doesn't really matter because it can't happen that often.
All right. Well, this might apply to Sweetie Tweety, who's just joined. Yes, and that as well.
Hello, Sweetie Tweety.
Yes, and put my teeth in before I start. Apparently, social media websites designed to help people contact each other are having the opposite effect, according to a new report. And it's leaving people feeling alone. Because nobody loves them anymore. And they're not talking. And Rachel, please give me a hug on the cyber thing because I'm so alone. Sorry.
I mean, you know what? This is kind of strange. It's not something.
It's a lovely confession off him, though.
Yes, it was, and we should get him some help. What
you mean you're going to get me an Oscar?
No, I was thinking about something. Help, but yeah, let's go. It's a strange phenomenon, but it's true. I think a lot of people use it as a way to contact the outside world because they, for whatever reason, feel that they can't. They're not great in actual social situations, so they use that sort of medium to talk to each other, and it does give them a reason not to go out, and that is a worry. If you use it for contacting your family or friends or whoever else, and don't sit there 24 hours a day chatting to people who may or may not actually exist, then that's a total worry. But I get the feeling that a lot of people, it's the internet, right? So 90% of what you see is people just inflating the excellentness of their own existence. And a lot of people look at it and feel envious and a bit sad that their life isn't as cool as everybody else's. But it's not really real, guys.
No. I'll tell you what's surprising, Rach.
Worst.
I was at the Poprad English Club the other night, and somebody said to me, I'll messenger you. I said, you won't? I said, why not? I said, because I don't have Messenger on my phone. And another lady sitting the other side said, oh, good for you. I said, yeah, exactly. I don't want people Facebooking me 24 hours a day. And my phone's on 24 hours a day for logical reasons. And I'm sorry, you can't messenger me because I ain't there, because I don't have any kind of Twitter, Facebook, any other social media going bing, bing, bing on my phone all day long.
But surely, isn't this thing that they're talking about here self-perpetuating?
Of course it is.
How so? Explain.
Oh, because if it all began, let's name does who's done what to who, it all began with radio. Radio was the first internet. That was the first thing that said interaction between two people no longer is necessary because we're going to interact with a box in the corner. Then television came along, that got even worse. And now you've got the internet which means you don't have to react with anybody anywhere in the world because you've got cyber friends and nobody really exists in your life. That's why you're lonely, because you've got no real friends.
What about the telephone?
Telephone? Well, no, that's talking to
use
people.
the telephone anymore.
You're quite right, it's as bad.
Excuse me? Yeah?
Telephone?
No, I don't use telephone much.
I don't use a telephone. I don't know what to do with it.
I do use telephone quite a lot, actually, come to think of it. A normal one.
The best thing that's ever been invented is Skype.
Yep.
Yep, I'll go with that.
The rest of the internet should be banned. It should be.
Lee, if you ban it,
yeah,
then nobody's going to hear what you're saying next.
Nobody's going to.
I'll just be on Skype. Me, the Skype man.
Yeah, but it's just the three of us having a Skype chat I'm not staying up till 11 o'clock to have a Skype chat with you guys every Friday.
No, that's
I love
right.
you, but
What do you reckon, Tommy N and Lester Tom's back? Hello, Lester Tom. And,
Lester Tom.
And Badge One's here again. Nice to see you, Badge One. No, you're wrong. You're typically wrong.
Who's wrong?
You.
Why?
typically wrong.
Of course you are.
Why am I wrong?
The radio gave entertainment to people. It actually collected the family together so they could listen to something and then discuss it.
Yes, that's quite right. But what it did...
Got you.
Let's go back even further. Theatre was the first internet. Theatre, when you didn't tell stories to each other, once you started watching other people perform, once you started to actually have, whatever that word is I can't think of, that I went back to find and then I couldn't find it. Once you started to be entertained by other people, then you started to lose contact with your neighbour or your partner or your child because your focus moved away from a human being to a tableau.
So you're saying...
Wait a minute. That means, by that logic, that means that books were the first internet.
Yes.
Or
You're absolutely right. I was hoping nobody would catch on to that, but you're quite right.
And therefore, William Shakespeare was a bad man.
He was that WikiLeaks person in the whatever he was, 14th century.
Yeah. We move to we go back to Australia again with our Kiwi lady. Not a Kiwi.
Kiwi?
Where did Kiwi come from?
She's exactly.
Where did Kiwi come from? I apologise profusely.
That's terrible. Sell him off.
My profuse was apologising.
I'm missed.
There you are. I'm so sorry, Rachel. I shall be humble now, and pass the microphone to the wonderful, gorgeous, and intelligent Rachel Brunsden, who will comment on an incident that's taking place in Mitchell, in Queensland.
This is a terrible story.
It is.
This British tourist, this backpacker, met a guy in Cairns, I think, and they struck up a relationship, if you want to call it that. After it sort of turned bad, he then kidnapped her and decided to chuck her in a van or a four-wheel drive, and kept her captive for 2 months. And he was very violent towards her and things that I don't want to say out loud because I don't want to know about that. But yeah, she ended up at a petrol station in Mitchell, which is about 350 miles in the old money, east of Brisbane. She walked in to pay, but she didn't have any money on her. He was hiding in the back, and she walked in and she was very upset, and she said, "I can't pay. My ex has got my wallet." But the attendant noticed that she was a bit too upset to just to not have her wallet. She was covered in bruises and she had black eyes and God knows what else. So she said, "Can I help you at all? Do you want me to call the police?" And she ran out and got in this truck and drove off. So she's clearly very, very frightened. The lady behind the counter used her brain, and it was excellent. And she followed them in her car, hoping to get a number plate, but she couldn't get a plate. She then notified the police, who were able to pull them over and discovered this guy hiding in a funny little compartment in the back, and they have rescued this girl. The British consul is trying to figure out the best way to get her home, and it's a horrendous story. This girl is going to be so damaged, and just the things she must. 2 months is a long time when every day must feel like forever when you're in a situation like that. So, I mean, good on you, lady at the Caltex.
Yeah, absolutely. Round of applause for that lady. Yeah, good one.
This is something. These sort of things are happening a lot in Australia at the moment, aren't they? Is this because of the outback? Because you've got weird people who live in the outback and come and do these awful things?
I think it's a lot of it's because people who are, nefarious by nature head to that part of the country because there's nothing there, literally nothing.
And they're lonely because they've only got the internet.
Well, they don't. No, not in Australia and not out there.
No, that's the problem, Leigh. They haven't got the internet out there.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
yeah.
right. But this is the thing. They can go out there and just disappear. It's huge. And they can just vanish, and they're not going to get detected very easily when you're driving for thousands of kilometres and literally see nothing. So I think this is why bad things happen. But it always seems to be backpackers from Europe or the UK.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
So, I mean, a word to the wise is there's enough precedent that says stay away from people who may seem a bit odd or want to pal up with you. If you don't know who they are, if you don't really know who they are, stay away from them.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you all. We've just about got time to ask Leigh if he's happy. With an announcement in the budget this week in the UK, the Chancellor Philip Hammond said that he's going to charge self-employed people more money each year to contribute because they are not contributing as much money as employed people in to pay things like the NHS.
And exactly, and the reason we don't contribute as much is because we can't get anything else if we're ill, we don't get sick pay, we don't get holiday pay, we don't get anything else. So why should we have to pay more for something we don't get? You know what the average wage in Britain is for a self-employed person?
Go on, tell us.
£17,000 a year. It's less. Many self-employed people are not even managing to earn the minimum wage. And now they want to charge those people more for something they will not receive. You cannot. If I go on the sick, I have to find the money from somewhere. I have to go out and rob a bank. I don't know. Sometimes you can't afford to do it. We never have holidays because we can't afford to pay holiday pay for ourselves. We don't do anything. So why does this idiotic man think that we should pay more for something we will never get?
Don't one of your cars, Uncle Leigh.
Pardon?
Don't one of your cars.
Oh, Rachel, that's a terrible thing. You make me sound so posh. I have a Bentley and a truck.
Because you sold the disco.
I've sold the disco. The disco went, I advertised it, and within hours it was gone. I am really upset about it. I really love that car.
But you had 3 cars.
3 diesel cars, I know. I did exactly what this ridiculous government told us to do. I went out and bought every diesel car I could see. I just bought, because that's what the government say. Don't use petrol. We'll all die if you use petrol. Use diesel. We'll all live long and happy. So I went out and bought all these diesel cars. Saying you can't have diesel. Diesel kills everybody. So now I've got to sell them all.
All right.
Most rational human beings would just buy the one, maybe.
Yes, but you
I
see...
have 2 legs. I have 2 arms, I have 2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 nostrils. And so I have 2 cars.
You use one at a time, they're not roller skates.
Right,
I use both my eyes and my nostrils and my ears.
Rach, thank God he's only got one mouth.
You can never say that with your 2 faces.
We're taking a break, boys and girls. Back in literally 1 minute.
RTI.
Everybody okay? Remember your training, all right?
RNLI lifeboat crews are unpaid volunteers. They rescue 22 people every day. On a lifeboat, training is a matter of life and death, and it costs £1,000 a year for each crew member. As a charity, we receive no UK government funding, so our crew's safety depends entirely on your donations. Please call 0800 543 210 and donate £20 or whatever you can afford. Because next time, this could be for real.
RTI.
And welcome back to part 2 of Postcard from Poprad. A very apt commercial, I think, because the next story is all about an Irishman and a French woman who was saved in the Tasman Sea. Rachel.
Yeah, it was that. This is an extraordinary survival.
Could you just
story.
explain where the Tasman Sea is first?
Oh, it's next to the Sea of Tasman.
Oh, ha, 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 ha. Oh,
it's
God.
between Australia and New Zealand.
Oh, is it? Is it literally like the bit between the two?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
That's what we say, cross the Tasman or cross the ditch.
Right.
Yeah, they've been sailing around the world for the last 7 years, which is extraordinary. And they got caught in this horrible storm in the middle of the Tasman. It sounded like it was just horrendous. I actually saw this on the news this morning, and I thought, so one of these people are alive. Their yacht capsized, and they were in seas that were as big as a building a lot of the time, and
wow.
they were battered around. They managed to it was completely capsized, but they managed to somehow get a hold of the emergency beacon, which is a brilliant thing to carry. Everyone should. And they set it off, and our Coast Guard rescued them, which was really great of them. It was hard rescue, apparently, because the sea was so rough and so huge. And they came ashore, and they looked pretty good, actually, for people who'd been sort of bashed around like that. Shame that their boat's now wrecked, because they had been on it. It was their home for a very long time. But horrendous story, and really lucky to be alive. Seriously, that they thought at one point, that's it, we're gone, and we're going to drown, and made their peace and all that stuff. But nah, the Aussies went and helped them. All good.
Absolutely. And that's why...
Tell me the Australian joke now.
No, we haven't got time.
We have.
We're not even halfway through the running order, and you want to tell a joke.
Yeah, here it is.
Oh.
Why wasn't Jesus born in Australia?
Go on.
Why?
Because they couldn't find 3 wise men or a virgin.
Ho.
So you unwittingly imply that we're stupid and slutty.
Ho, ho, ho. It's all right, Rachel.
What kind of music do kangaroos listen to? Hip hop.
Rach, worry not. We're going to get him back. Mr. Banks.
What? No, leave me alone.
The next story belongs to you.
Which one's that then?
About the journalist.
This is ridiculous. I know, I can't believe it. It's just so silly. Basically, what's happened, right?
Yes.
Was a journalist working for the BBC, the place that everybody hates, the place that creates nothing but fake news, right? And he found that there was lots and lots and lots of vaguely, some pornographic, some not pornographic, but very inappropriate pictures of children on Facebook. So basically,
are we saying that he was searching out dodgy pictures on Facebook?
Basically, yeah.
Right,
yeah,
okay, that's point one. Go on, carry on, sir.
Right. Basically, Facebook has this policy where it takes pictures down, but actually it decides not to take them down for all sorts of hideous reasons and ridiculous reasons. So this bloke phoned them up and said, look, I've got all these pictures I found on the air. Some are paedophilic, others are things that are being passed around by secret groups on Facebook. And he sent them all to them. Guess what happened?
He got nicked.
He got
What did
nicked.
they do?
Facebook told the police that he sent them all these pictures and he got nicked for it. That's outrageous. What a ridiculous organisation Facebook is.
What Facebook were doing was reading where he was going, logging it, and seeing a person sourcing and looking for inappropriate pictures, and then that's why he got reported.
But
They sort of have a duty of care to follow through.
They don't carry out that duty of care, do they? They do this sort of ridiculous thing. There's a friend of mine, and he does this deliberately. He puts pictures of breasts on his Facebook page all the time. But it could be a chicken breast. It could be a greater crested vole. It could be anything that has the word breast in it that isn't a breast. Right. And he keeps getting it taken down because people keep complaining because they think it's funny. So Facebook keeps taking these pictures of a chicken breast down because he's got breasts on his site. This all began because
maybe the chicken didn't consent.
Well, exactly. Chicken consent is what you need. You can't just do that. That's not. I was trying to do a cluck joke, but I couldn't get it to work.
Don't.
Yeah,
but be serious a minute, Leigh. And it's worth noting for everybody else. You know, if you want to be a do-gooding person, by all means. But when you're doing this kind of thing, if you are first of all doing it without the knowledge of Facebook, they will see you as the perpetrator of a crime because you are sourcing bad images. Now, to do what he's done, he was then downloading the images. Yeah. What he should have done is report each image, which you can do with a little drop-down box on the right-hand side, of the image to Facebook. He didn't. He was downloading pictures. So he was guilty of...
He made a mistake. He made a mistake, but he didn't think he'd made a mistake. And Facebook acted stupidly towards him.
They had a bloke sourcing pictures who was then downloading them. When he got in touch, they reported him to the police because they're not sure what to do. Simple.
Well, I agree, but once he
could have just been he could have been just covering his tracks.
He could have been. There's all these things.
They don't.
So he could be establishing his own alibi.
Exactly.
Well, Facebook. We love you, Facebook. We think for everybody, for everything, Facebook.
There you go. You see, you got it all wrong again.
Why does it leave up racism, pictures of people with their heads chopped off? Why do they leave all this up and then attack a journalist for doing his job?
Actually, I will share this because it is true. If it is that there are some stupid people on there, and for some bizarre reason, they will like a false account. Now, the reason that these false accounts here are normally pornography or something like that, these idiots like them. And then, of course, if they've liked me, you, or Rach or something, this person will then try and befriend other people. Now,
is that what all these pictures of single women keep coming up for?
Correct. Now, what I do, or started doing many years ago, was I would report those to Facebook. And I would report them as spammers, as they clearly are, because you can tell that from the type of link that they have on their page as well. You don't need to go there. Yeah. You can just tell. So it ended up that I became one of the monitors with Facebook of a big team of people that do actually advise Facebook that there are these bad pages there. And I'll be honest with you, Leigh, normally when I report one of them, if the page lasts more than 5 minutes, I'm surprised.
Well, that's a good thing. It is a good thing.
It is good. But you've got, in a community like that, you've got to play your part in the community a bit. And I know all the commercial sides of Facebook, and I accept all those arguments. But the truth is, it's so big that the company itself needs a little bit of support sometimes. And why not? Because you always say that you get bad stuff on your profile. I very rarely get bad stuff on my profile.
I don't anymore. When we're talking about bad stuff, I think I should qualify what we mean by bad
not naughty bad stuff. Not that way round. But if you play part of the community in there, and we all do it, then that will stop it in its entirety. There'll always be some little bits and pieces there, and I accept that as well. But we can nullify most of it without too much of each. If you, instead of sitting at home going, "Oh, that's bad," we know it's bad. Just do something about it. Stop being British.
The only thing I would say to that, and you could probably answer this quite well, but there have been loads and loads of stories recently of people who have actually reported things like to Facebook or indeed on many other kinds of internet sites, and have actually had their computers taken off them for months. There actually was a story recently where a bloke reported some child pornography to Facebook. The police came round and he didn't see his children for over 12 months, although all he'd ever done was report child pornography.
Well, I wouldn't stop reporting it. If they can see that you're not looking and downloading the imagery, which is the key factor, don't download anything to save it to prove your point.
To send it them, no.
Just report it and let them do the work, not you. And then you got a clean bill of health, and that's the answer. We move on because they say tossing a coin in a fountain will bring you good luck.
3 times.
I've done 3 coins in the mountain.
Fountain.
Yeah. Oh, right.
Which one will the fountain choose?
No, which one will the turtle choose? Because this poor turtle, 25-year-old, who's been nicknamed Bank, was very poorly in a pool in a park in Thailand, and the money that had been thrown in this little pool, the poor turtle had been sort of swallowing it, and had got 5 kilos worth of money in the belly of this poor turtle, and eventually the shell cracked.
15 tons, eh?
The shell cracked, causing life-threatening infections, and they had to operate on this poor little turtle.
Well, at least it got the money to get itself sorted out, hasn't it?
They had to raise nearly £350 to pay for the surgery.
Well, how much had it got inside itself?
Well, it's 915 coins, which is worth about twopence halfpenny in English money.
Well, exactly. That's what I'm saying. It must have been a tourist, yeah.
Yeah.
Can I just ask Rachel a question?
Yes.
What do you call a lazy baby kangaroo?
What?
A pouch potato.
These are getting worse.
Yeah.
These are the best Australian jokes on the internet.
You're going to put Tony back in the ICU.
That's very true.
Are you laughing yet, Tony?
Anyway, Michael says, if a single woman messages me or wants me to be a friend on Facebook, I instantly block them. That's not a bad idea. If you don't know who they are.
No, exactly.
Block them. Hotmail's been a bit of a problem. The owner, Microsoft, said a sign-in problem affected some users accessing their emails this week. Oh, dear.
Oh, dear. These are the stories.
Serves them right getting Hotmail, really?
Yeah. Who uses Hotmail anymore?
The glorious Andrea uses Hotmail.
Really?
I've been trying to get her to stop. I think Hotmail's the worst thing that you could ever perpetrate on the email sending public.
How many people out there use Hotmail? I'd love to know. Oh, KB does.
Who does?
KB. He's from Holland. Well, there you go.
Yeah, I was just looking for a Hotmail.
Ho, 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 ho. Very good.
Sorry.
He's listening to you, you know.
I know, I'm just saying sorry to him. It was a joke.
Was it? You sure? You haven't got your fingers crossed, have you?
Where? Where are my fingers crossed?
I knew it was going to be one of those days. I really did. Good news for some Tesco's workers. 140,000 of them are going to be compensated after a bit of a screw-up with the payroll because they weren't paid up to the national living wage. They were paid below.
They must be self-employed.
No.
Well, I wasn't listening. I was writing to somebody on the intertwitch and tweet.
Careful.
An owl. It's an owl.
Well, apparently the total refund thing for Mr. Tesco's is going to be £9.7 million. They've underpaid their staff.
Every little helps.
Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. We move on to another one, which I shall probably attempt to straighten out Mr. Banks with, which is probably going to be impossible. This is one of Leigh's stories. I'm just sharing this because I want to give him credit for bringing the story to the programme.
All this means is he doesn't believe it. He's just going to try and destroy this story. This is a very important story. This has come, the CIA, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everybody else. The CIA. Yes, the CIA. That's Donald Pump. He's watching you through your television and
Really?
in your car.
Really?
You are being spied on by Donald Pump.
Really?
Yeah.
You sure?
I'm absolutely convinced of it, yeah.
So
It's
you
a
think
WikiLeaks document.
you
It says-
think that Mr. Trump and his people are watching me on my television?
He is.
Because I do have a smart television.
He took one look at you. You don't have a smart.
Really? my television's a complete idiot.
I do have to say, this is from WikiLeaks.
Yes.
And it says that the CIA secret hacking program is tools that can turn a world of increasingly networked camera and microphone-equipped devices into eavesdroppers. And I come from wood to eaves.
Yes. Well, can I just share something?
You will do, because we believe this story, don't we, Rachel?
I do, because do you remember, I think it was last year, we did a story on smart TVs, how they can broadcast things that are going on in your house.
Yes.
Exactly.
And I remember saying at the time that we should give a smart TV to all the people in ISIS, and then they would be able to find them and kill them all.
Yeah,
and
they'd all be there watching Fargo and stuff like that, wouldn't they?
When ISIS have had a hard day of terrorising, they go home and put up their feet and watch, Game of Thrones or whatever else. But do you remember when we did this story?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
And what about
Now
those
it's
speakers?
true. It's true, Uncle Leigh. It's true.
Absolutely. What about those little round speakers that you say, can you make me a cup of tea, please? And it then tells that to Donald Trump and tells the CIA and tells the FBI and everybody. It does, Eric. It does.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've only got
Eric,
one.
it
I've
does,
only
you
got.
don't end up in trouble.
I've only got one word to say to you.
Why not? Yeah.
Router.
Oh,
very
well, now
rude.
we're back to being rude again.
Yes.
Yeah, Rachel.
It's called make love, so don't be silly.
Look, when you drive a car, do you make sure it's got oil in it?
No, Andrea does that.
When you drive a car, do you make sure it's got fuel in it?
No, Andrea does that.
Okay, apart from Leigh Banks, the rest of the human race would do that sort of thing. So every now and again, just make sure your firewall's up to date. It's not difficult. If you've got a router, 9 times out of 10, you've only got to turn them off and turn them on again, and they update themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's actually not a bad thing every so often, a couple of months or so, when you're going out, just turn your router off. Let you have a little holiday, and when you come back home, turn it on again. And it'll be ever so happy you've done that. And then, guess what? Nobody gets in.
No, they don't. They don't.
They can't.
No.
So there
Listen
you
to
go.
this. This is good sageness advice.
Yes. So, to Mr. Wikipedia thingy people.
Yeah, well,
Can you please say router for the Australian audience?
yeah, well, does it mean the same thing as it means in English?
Yes, it does, and it's just...
That's disgusting.
You can't say that.
Anyway, it's disgusting.
Luckily, we are licensed by the United Kingdom, and so we talk proper like what we should do on here, and we enunciate the way we should enunciate. Router. Anyway.
Can I just
Fire a
ask
drink
Rachel
first.
question?
Can
I just ask Rachel a question?
Uh-oh.
Yes.
Rachel, are you there?
Yes.
The difference between an Australian wedding and an Australian funeral?
What?
There's one less drunk at the funeral.
That's true.
That's true. Wasn't a joke, but it's true. Police investigating the alleged rape of a mother. There's just huge news in the UK, all over every television channel going. Was apparently the first thing was she was apparently forced into a car, but now the police are saying that which was first reported was not correct.
And what actually happened?
We don't know. That's the trouble. So there was all this big hoo-ha chasing these two guys around, who they'd given out, the sort of descriptions of and everything else. Yeah. And this was Cleveland police. And then they've said that the circumstances, and I quote, not as first reported. Now, that's a bit of a shocker in anybody's book, isn't it?
Mm.
Well, in what way? Why did you find that shocking?
Well, you've got two guys whose descriptions have been given out to the media, who clearly, well, they're actually saying they're not looking for them anymore.
Yeah.
But people in the modern age get a bit carried away with this sort of stuff. And if they think that person's a rapist, they can often give them, five knuckles, boof.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Well, that's right. But there you have to go down the back of saying, well, the media, they're despicable. Terrible.
No.
I'm doing what all the idiots would say.
No.
All the idiots would say that's fake news. We shouldn't report it.
Whoa. Hold.
No. Reported to the police.
Yes.
Not reported by the press.
Correct.
What? The story was in all the press that they were looking for these people. I was actually taking the mickey out of the people condemning the press for everything, because this is, I think the press covered this well. It
weren't their fault.
No, whatever happened.
Yeah. It wasn't the media's fault.
Yeah, but they're not saying that. They're saying the police said that it wasn't as reported. They're not saying that it as reported by the media. They're saying as reported to them. So what's the media got to do with it?
Because
right.
Whoa, right. Let me help out a bit for everybody else around the world.
I'm tired and I want to go to bed.
No, the thing is...
taking the mickey!
The thing is, Rach...
People who say like Donald Trump says everything's fake news.
Chip. Rach, if you were watching UK television a few days ago, the message was given from the Cleveland police to the media, and the media actually went... They did what was then seen as a very good job helping the police to find two potential rapists. However, it has now come to pass that the report that was given to the police in the first place was not exactly accurate. Yeah. So it wasn't the media that were that were wrong over this.
I never said it was the media. It was taking the mickey out of people who say the media get everything wrong.
Let me explain why this story upsets me.
Go on.
When people who have actually been through a sexual assault, why they don't come forward and tell the police is because they don't think that anybody will believe them. That's why.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. People
who make things up and give this a sort of erroneous account of what has occurred to them, whether it occurred or not, this is not the point, but their telling of it, if it turns out to be false, that again spreads this fear that they're not going to be believed. People will think they're making it up, etc., etc. So the more this happens, the more frightened actual victims become, and that makes my blood boil, because they should feel safe to go forward.
Absolutely.
If not for these people, fairy stories, it's just very upsetting.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more.
It is, yeah.
We've got to move on, boys and girls, so we've still got a few more stories to squeeze in. We've got to say hello to Jean and Mohammed. And T, who also joined us again. The residents of a Canadian town have been shocked. Their gasp has been flabbered to find that when they turned the tap on, bright pink water came out of the taps.
Oh, that's nice.
Why?
It happened on International Women's Day. I thought it was a thing.
Oh, no.
Rachel.
I thought that's extreme. What have they done here? Because I was watching the news and I saw the vision, but I had the volume down, and I thought, Canada's taking International Women's Day really seriously this year. They've changed the colour of the water. How brilliant! Oh. And then I realised that the two weren't linked, which is a shame.
No, that's very true. That's very true. And hi to Harmut as well. I missed you out. Sorry, mate. But apparently this happened in Onaway, Alberta. And experts have said that this horrible stuff can cause skin burns and even abdominal pains if swallowed.
And in your throat.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
That's how it gets to your abdominal areas.
Don't swallow. Don't swallow this water.
Yes, I'm
glad. Don't drink it. It's pink. It's got potassium permanganate in it. Didn't we used to have some? Wasn't potassium permanganate something that we? Oh no, that was that chemical thing that used to blow up in steel, wasn't it?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Little knowledge is dangerous.
That little knowledge got to the truth.
How?
Because I thought it was to do with potatoes, potassium, and permanganates being that fruit thing that was like
pomegranates.
Yeah, pomegranates or mango. And so I thought it was to do with sweets, but it isn't. It's a public warning that potassium permanganate actually can blow up.
Yes, it can. British Zoos are set to step up security, and I find this abhorrent. I really do. British Zoos are going to step up security after poachers killed a captive rhino and cut off its horn with a chainsaw.
Unbelievable, isn't it?
It's just outrageous. This happened in Paris, or not too far from Paris, at the Theory Zoo. And in light of the attack, keepers at the wonderful Whipsnade Zoo, and if ever you get a chance, go to Whipsnade Zoo in Bedfordshire. It's not like your average zoo as people picture them. It's more like a wildlife park rather than just a zoo, which is a sister service to the Zoological Society of London. They really do care about the animals there, and they have huge breeding campaigns going on there as well. Yeah, the proper stuff where they release back out into the wild. And to think that they are now having to kind of police the rhinos in captivity. I think they should take a chainsaw at these pirates and put people's noses. Ooh.
I'm not a violent person by nature. Well, only for pleasure. But I think an eye for an eye or a horn for a horn in this case. And
yes, well, that's what I was saying. They should chainsaw their noses off. Awful.
All right, we'll go with noses.
That'll do for me.
She's not talking about Pinocchio.
No, I know. That's a liar in Slovakia. If you say someone's Pinocchio nose, that's a liar. A real liar. Now, Rochdale. Hello, Rochdale. I'm sorry to tell you, Mr. Banks will no longer be coming to your town.
Rochdale, I've been banned from Rochdale.
He can't afford it.
Another one.
He actually can't afford to go to Rochdale anymore because they're clamping down on swearing in the town centre.
I know.
I don't get it.
I'll tell you what.
He doesn't want to go anywhere. He's self-employed. Bit of sensitivity, thank you very much.
But why do people? I swear I am one of the world's best swearers. I can turn adjectives into quadruple adjectives by putting swear words in.
Right.
I can swear like a genius, but I really do choose the place to swear. Like I don't swear on air as much as Rachel or Eric Norman. I don't swear, but everywhere you go now, people are just cursing and swearing. It's completely lacking in any kind of respect for other human beings.
Dignity is what it's called, darling.
Well done, Rochdale.
Dignity is what's needed, darling.
Dignity?
Yeah, they don't have any.
Not dignitas.
No, not dignity.
People don't have any. No dignity left in this world. I couldn't agree with you more.
Swearing are they doing in Rochdale?
Lots.
Well, there's nothing else to do in Rochdale.
That's
probably
what it is, actually.
That's the first thing you do. You arrive in Rochdale, you go, and I can't say it, but the thing you could think of that you say when you look at something, God, I don't want to be involved with that. Think of that in 4-letter words.
Yeah, you see, Anne who's on the chat room, she wouldn't like anybody swearing at her. It'd be horrible.
Who's that?
Anne.
Anne?
Yes.
Anne.
I would never swear at you, Anne.
No, and we wouldn't swear at Mo either, would we? We wouldn't swear at Mo.
We wouldn't try and upset Tony and make him feel poorly, would we?
They should put a 20-foot jar in the middle of Rochdale.
What? Just put Leigh in it.
Yeah, give me all your money.
That's it. That's the one. Rachel, what are you doing this weekend, gal?
It's a long weekend here in Melbourne, and other parts of Australia, not everywhere, but it's what we call Labour Day. And
what, you having a baby?
We sit around and do a lot of non-labouring because we're
Oh,
tired.
Right. So you've had enough for the week.
Yes, we've got Monday off, and that's lovely. And I'm going to spend my time doing really excellent amounts of nothing.
Right. I can relate to that immensely. It seems like a good idea to me. Mr. Banks, what are you up to?
Yeah, Tony, this is for you, right? Why did the wombat cross the road? To
Why?
see its flatmate.
We're not going to let him say goodbye today, are we, Rach?
Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Go on, Rach, you do it properly. Say goodbye to Tony.
Goodbye, Tony. Goodbye. Feel better.
That's the one. And good luck to Mrs. D in the hospital here in Poprad as well. Coming up, it's Kilty K. There is just so much, great entertainment coming across the weekend. Unfortunately, he goes downhill a little bit on Sunday because that's when himself comes back again with his dinner party. But, you know, you just win some, you just lose some. That's life, isn't it? Have a great week till next week, boys and girls.
RTI. The best music, 24 hours a day.